Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you again in our 45th edition of Sunday Synergy virtual webinar. Now, we are living through one of the most significant technological shift of our time. Now, technology has undergone a lot of transformations and the evolution in the past, right, 3-4 decades also. But this is a very crucial time because the technology shift is happening very fast. And artificial intelligence has rapidly moved beyond being an emerging technology to becoming a strategic business imperative. It is transforming industries, redefining jobs, accelerating innovations, and changing the way organizations compete and create the value. But amidst all these technological advancements, perhaps the biggest question is not about AI itself, but it's all about leadership. Now, whether it is leadership is a very generic term, right? But here today we are focusing more on the technological leadership or technical leadership. So how do technology leaders stay relevant when the pace of the change has, right, taken a quantum leap and it is faster than ever? How do they balance innovation with responsibility? How do they build a future-ready team? How they adapt to the situation? How they motivate? How they inspire people? How can they foster a culture of continuous learning and lead organizations through uncertainty? Now, these are not just technology questions. Again, they are leadership questions as well. So today, we are fortunate that we have privilege of learning from someone who has been at the forefront of enterprise AI adoption and digital transformation. Our speaker brings deep expertise in generative AI, agentic AI, intelligent automation, and enterprise AI engineering, along with invaluable experience in translating cutting-edge technology into real business impact. Let me pleasure to welcome Mr. 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗄, AI engineering leader at 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵, for today's fireside chat on leading through the AI era, how technology leaders can stay relevant and thrive. Welcome, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗄.
Thank you, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵, and this is a very, very nice way to open our webinar or the chat. And I've seen a couple of your, sessions. I was there. So you're doing a fantastic job, and I think some of the topic which you have brought in is amazing. And as you correctly said that, we are right now in the midst of a significant change. When me and you were deciding on the topic, right, that's why we thought that let's bring something to be relevant to a lot of people like us. And like we are also trying to decipher this particular topic at this moment, that personally, how I or me, we both of us are going to stay relevant, right? So we have a lot of conversation around it. So thank you for the invitation. And
absolutely. It's our pleasure and honor to have you here. Now, we personally know each other, but for rest of the people who have taken their time on this busy Sunday, right? So let me introduce yourself. Let me introduce you to others. Like 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗄 is a global AI engineering leader with over 20 years of experience driving AI and digital transformation initiatives across leading global organizations. He currently leads global AI engineering for 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵, formerly Consumer Health Division of J&J, initiatives spanning data science, generative AI, agentic AI, intelligent automation, and machine learning LLM ops. A recognized thought leader in the AI space, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵 holds 5 patents and has authored 2 publications, right? So that clearly describes his credential. He has been honored with the AI 100 Awards, 3 AI Pinnacle Awards, and the Indian Achiever Awards for Innovation. Beyond industry, he actively contributes to academia as a guest lecturer and speaker at institutions such as Arizona State University, UC, Marshall Law of Business, and Madras School of Economics. He's also a startup advisor, conference speaker, and educator, passionate about helping organizations unlock business value through AI and data-driven decision making. So again, welcome 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗄 to our conversation.
Thank you, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵.
Now, to begin with, over the last few decades, we have witnessed several major technology waves, right? So maybe if we start from internet to mobile, maybe IoT, cloud computing, digital transformation. Now, each changed how business operate. So first, the technology wave is coming and business is kind of adapting to the situation. They are also transforming themselves. But AI feels little different because rest of the technology shifts were more deterministic in their own way. But this is more about probabilistic and changing very fast, right? How decisions are made, how work getting done, and even how the knowledge is created. Now, if we take a simple example with cloud computing, so in a simple language, organization moved their application to the new infrastructure. But with generative AI, a marketing executives can draft a campaign in minutes. A developer can generate code. A customer support agent can get real-time assistance, and a CEO can summarize write hundreds of pages into key insights within seconds. So it is basically touching upon all the people in the IT ecosystem, and not only IT ecosystem, I would say in every industry you take it up. And that is one of the misconceptions that we always have, that AI is only for the IT but not for others. No, that's completely a wrong perception. Now, sitting at this juncture, AI is dominating boardroom conversations today. Every boardroom you go, right, AI is coming as the one of the major keywords which is uttered the most. Now, in your point of view, Vishwajit, what makes this technology wave fundamentally different from the previous disruptions like cloud, mobile, or digital transformation?
Brilliant. I think it's a great question to start off our conversation with. Now, I think you have already set up the context so well, right? So let me take this one keyword from what you just now, or one key sentence, right, or key takeaway, what you just now mentioned. That typically, right, every technology that has come has eventually improved how we work, right? Now, AI being obviously a technology, it also does the same, right? But the fundamental difference, and like in my mind, I have just noted down 3 points. Number one is AI has democratized expertise. So if you think that the earlier knowledge was mapped to experts, right? However, now knowledge is for everyone. So I think it has democratized expertise quite a lot. Second point is, if you think that AI is more of a collaborator, right? However, most of the previous technologies, some of the technology you mentioned, right, like cloud, ERP, some of the tools, those were mostly the tools or systems. However, AI is just like your teammate, and that is a very fundamental change, right? And the third point I want to highlight is, and it's a very unique for AI, is that it improves himself.
Right.
So if you consider the technologies like cloud, right, the ERP systems of the world, the SAP system of the world, they doesn't learn. However, AI is continuously improving itself by incorporating say new data, new model, incorporating feedback. I think what has happened in my mind is, for the first time in the history, technology isn't just automating the task, but it is actually augmenting human intelligence. And that is I think the fundamental difference.
Fully agree. Yep, absolutely. No, great points. Now, what had been the right transformation for an IT technology leaders, right? That has also been significant in the past few years. Now, not too long ago. Now, what was the primary response, or what were the primary responsibility of a technology leader? To build the right framework, optimize your solution, delivering customer value, staying with your metrics and measurement, making sure, right, the security, privacy, right, those things are taken care of, ensuring, right, no vulnerabilities, right, and with the right set of infrastructure. Now, this used to be our motto of a good technical leader or an architect, etc., etc. Of course, the project delivery is the primary, right, focus area. But today, the expectations have changed, right, dramatically. Now, technology leaders are now expected to shape AI strategy, identify the business opportunity, establish responsible AI governance, build AI-ready talent, and most importantly, to help the organization navigate rapid technological change. Now, they are no longer just enabling the business, but they are increasingly influencing the business strategy itself. So how, to your perspective, what I mean, you have got a lot of experience around that and exposure as well. So how is the role of a technology leader changing in the AI era? What responsibilities today are significantly different from what used to be 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗵, you have already sum up a good chunk of the answer. But like as you correctly mentioned, that now the technology leaders are becoming more business architects,
Mm-hmm.
right? Means I think some of the KPI which you just now mentioned, right, which erstwhile technology leader used to have, and it was mostly focusing on the delivery excellence, right?
Right.
Uh, like a timeliness, the quality of delivery, the uptime, and etc. But now what is happening, and obviously a lot of cases it is now, a lot of cases in near future,
Mm-hmm.
they will be measured by business outcomes,
Right.
right? Then there is this new concept which is coming now, which is picking up pretty well, and I'm so obsessed about it. It's called revenue per employee.
Wow.
That means, like we are not talking about now about only the headcount, but it's about the outcome, right?
Right.
And the third aspect, again, which is my charter as well, is also to increase how to increase the innovation velocity, right? Given
Oh, that's
today's
excellent. Mm.
today's AI world, right?
Mm.
So I think what is eventually happening is, and you also stated that the question what technology leader need to answer nowadays, it's about what business problem should AI solve instead of asking what technology should we build,
Mm.
right? So eventually what is happening, if I just sum it up, is technology leaders now are becoming a more business transformation leader, right?
Right.
Vis-a-vis the only technology leader which erstwhile they were. I think that is what the technological leadership, where it is changing quite a lot.
Excellent. Excellent. I like that metrics called innovation velocity. No, this is very good. Now, one of the biggest leadership challenges today is not just learning AI, but it's adapting to the world where the pace of the change is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Right? So many leaders built highly successful careers by mastering technology. Think about how we used to start our career, let's say 20 years back. One person joining an organization, right, picking one technology, going deeper into it, right, mastering that, becoming an architect, becoming an enterprise architect. It's more like a I-shaped skill. Then it became T-shaped, right? Then E-shaped, sorry, pie-shaped, then E-shaped. Now we are expected to, which is a very unrealistic term, right, in terms of management, that comb-shaped, right? We need to do a lot of things apart from just doing the technical, right, bit of it. So, but in the AI area, the experience alone is not enough. The leaders who thrive often, those who are willing to challenge the long held assumption, stay curious and continuously evolve and start, right, adding more and more vertical to your base knowledge. It's no longer about having all the answer, but it is asking the right questions, better question, embracing experimentation and learning alongside with your team. So many experienced leaders built successful careers before AI became mainstream. Now the time has come, right, where the leaders should unlearn, relearn, and newly learn to remain relevant. So my request is please share some light. What are the things which a leader must unlearn, relearn, and newly learn to remain relevant?
Very, very apt question, and it's a need of the hour, right, for all of us. Let me start off with the unlearn piece, right? I think two things which I really want to highlight here is that number one, the command and control leadership.
Right.
And that is going away quite a lot in today's world. You cannot just dictate, or hierarchy is becoming more flattened, right, at this time. The second is about, as I think I mentioned sometime back in another question as well, that measuring success only by delivery, right?
Right.
So delivery alone should not be the KPI in today's world, right? There are so many other aspects, like an innovation, like how you are actually upskilling the team, the mindset changes, and etc., etc. So only delivery alone should not be a good KPI for a technology leader. If you ask me, relearn, I think a very, very important skill set, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗵, at this point of time is asking better question or good questions.
Agree.
Right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about first principle thinking.
Mm-hmm.
like how you are sort of designing your solution. And that is where I think asking good questions becomes a very, very important skill set for any technology leader in today's world.
Right.
The second aspect, which I feel is very important, or we have to relearn, is about how to think strategically. Because the strategies are changing left, right, and center in today's world, right? So the erstwhile one strategy A might not hold great in today's world, right? So we have to think strategically, given how the current world is moving, right? So that I think is the second aspect about relearn. And the third is about leading through influence. So, like it's not about, as I mentioned, right, it's not about hierarchy, but can you actually be the role model for your younger team members who can actually learn from, a lot of time what happens is that how a leader behave or how exactly the leader is reacting towards the current changes translate how the team actually sees the change, right? So essentially leading through influence, we again should relearn in today's AI world. The third aspect about the newly learned, I think definitely the AI literacy is a very important aspect, right? And by AI literacy, I mostly keep talking about two things. One is the skill of prompting, which is prompt engineering, and vibe coding, because I think a lot of things can be achieved if you actually can write nice prompts and do the vibe coding. And again, it ties back to obviously asking better question and thinking strategically, because that will help you to create more good prompts.
Absolutely.
And the last one, I'll talk about the governance and ethics, because as a leader, we definitely need to understand what an AI governance and what ethics looks like and how to actually operate with a certain guardrail. So if I just summarize in one sentence, it would be that that no leader has to become a data scientist.
Correct.
However, every leader should become AI fluent.
Agree. Nice. And as you rightly said, the prompt is becoming so critical, irrespective of which, level of technology leadership you are in, or maybe in a like in our organizations, we are now taught to with the Gemini license, etc. And amazing, like we have been doing this visual, Gemini code assist. Just by giving the right prompt, not even with a single line of code, I can build the entire application. Yeah. Amazing, right? So, things are changing so fast. So prompt is so important that how can you put your subject matter knowledge rightly and set the expectation rightly that the code assist can understand, can generate or translate that or transform that into a kind of full-fledged application. Fantastic. Now, coming to the next part. Now, many organizations begin their AI journey by investing in tools, platforms, and models. Yet, despite significant technology investment, some initiatives fail to deliver meaningful business outcome, not because of technology is not capable, but because people don't adopt it. The processes don't evolve, or the business problem is not clearly defined, exactly what I said. So you may be a good coder, but you are not able to define your problem statement correctly. Now, we have seen this before, right, with the digital transformation as well. Organization that succeeded did not just implement new technology, they transformed the way people worked, collaborated, and made decisions. So AI appears to be following a similar path, perhaps at an even greater scale. So from your experience perspective, Biswajit, do you believe AI transformation is more about technology, business strategy, or people and culture? Or if it is so, why?
Yeah. So, Shubhabrata, I think to me, it is always people. Right. And I'll tell you why. Because see, first of all, I think technology is available. Business strategies, I think, can be copied. However, the culture is where is the main crux lies, right? So I even in the previous question I mentioned about that how a good leadership influence the team, right? Correct. So I think that is where the culture comes into the picture, and that is the major, I think, the driver. As you correctly mentioned, now right now, if you think from a overall biggest bottleneck, I personally doesn't feel that AI is a bottleneck. The main bottleneck is about the organizational change and dynamics. And you also highlighted the concept of adoption. Now, if you see even today, I think I was seeing some number few months back while preparing for one of my course, that what is the current there is a particular stat which McKinsey typically generates, that what percentage of pilot project goes into production.
Correct.
I remember 2015 it was around 15%, and right now also it is around 20%. So with all these things, with all the talks, with all the hype, we have not moved significantly, right? It is just a delta of 5%.
Absolutely.
I think the major problem, and obviously you are doing it for the quite some time, I'm doing for quite some time. We know that it's not about technology, it's not about the business problem. It's about the change management, right? It's about the organizational dynamics. So that is where essentially is where the AI adoption stops, right? So that's why I'm talking about that, why people is the main thing here. And I will give an example, okay? Think right nowadays, Microsoft Copilot is available in all the organizations, right?
Correct.
Now, just imagine there is an organization A and organization B. I'm not quoting names, but you guys can tie it back. Organization A have bought, both organizations have bought the same licenses. They have the same features. They have the same technology for Microsoft Copilot, right? And they have rolled it out, this Copilot across their organization. After 6 months, you will see organization A has seized significant productivity gain, while organization B has seen a little impact. Now, if you delve deeper, you will see that the organization A, where it has actually proven to be very significant, there are 4 things they have done correctly, right? Number one is when they have a leadership sponsorship backing this particular initiative.
Correct.
Right? Second is they have invested in employee training, that how each of the functions can use Microsoft Copilot, right? They have done the change management correctly, and they have created a culture where people are encouraged to experiment.
Excellent.
Vis-a-vis when you see an organization B where they have seen a very, very small impact, you will see that typically they have rolled out the tool and expected that adoption will happen automatically, right? Now, so what essentially it says, right? See that, and that is why I'm actually stressing on is that AI transformation is fundamentally a leadership and change transformation, and hence people plays a very important role here, right? So to answer your question, this is what I personally think, that technology is there, business problems are there, people who actually essentially enforce it and make this happen.
Very, very well articulated. Thank you so much. Now, coming to a very, very common problem which everyone is having in their mind. Whenever a disruptive technology emerges, uncertainty follows, anxiety follows, insecurity follows. Now, today, one of the most common questions that employee ask, will AI replace my job? And that is not for only IT.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, that's a common question. And we also know the answer, the typical answer that everyone gives. No, AI is not going to replace your job. But those who are kind of not embracing AI as a co-creator or a co-partner, right, or something, they will lose their job, right? So we know that. Now, why AI is undoubtedly changing the nature of the work, the history shows that the technology often transforms roles more than it eliminates. And we have seen that, right? When computer came in, people were under threat that, okay, computer is going to take away our job, but computer actually created more job than it was there before. When internet came in, right? So people were thinking, oh, internet is coming, so we'll start losing, right, job, etc., and many other things. But actually, it is creating a lot of opportunity for the people, right, who are not that, right, doing a blue-collar job or something, but they are also earning money, right, by doing something or other. Now, the real challenge for the leaders is managing this transition with empathy, transparency, and a commitment to reskilling instead of creating a culture of fear, insecurity, anxiety, etc. Now, the organizations that succeed, right, won't just deploy AI, exactly the point you said. They will build confidence, encourage experimentation, and help people see AI as a partner and not as a competitor or an enemy, right? That augments the human potential rather than a threat. So one of the biggest concerns that employees have is whether AI is going to replace your job. How can leaders address this fear while fostering excitement, innovation? Whatever I have said is my experience. I would like to explore yours. What is your advice?
Oh, this is definitely the, I think, most asked question, right? Whichever session I take in today's world. I think, see, one thing is that definitely AI is going to automate a lot of tasks.
Right,
That's the whole premise, right? And hence it is going to impact in a certain way, right? Now, in certain field, it will impact, the magnitude of the impact will be more compared to the certain field where the magnitude will be less, right? Now, that is given. I think that is well established by now.
right.
Now, at the same time, as you correctly mentioned, and you highlighted few examples, like when computer came, everybody said, think that, oh, what will happen to my job, right? So to extend that, I'll take a very simple example of, like, for example, ATM.
Right.
Like, for example, when I remember long back when the ATM came, they felt that, hey, now banking will go for a toss. Right now, ATMs are still there, banking is going the same way. So nothing has changed much there, right? Similarly, I think when Microsoft, I think again long back, mid early 2000, right, when Microsoft bring those Excel, Word doc, and etc., and then a lot of, I think, the accountant and etc. feel that, hey, Excel might kill accountant job, right? But Excel is also there, accountants are also there, right?
Correct.
So at the end of the day, it's about how we adopt this kind of a trend, how we embrace.
Right.
And I think, Subhrati, you also highlighted few points on the soft skill part, right? And I
Correct.
personally feel that in today's world, I think the human judgment, creativity, empathy, leadership is going to play a much bigger role compared to the erstwhile world,
True.
right? Because a lot of tasks are being taken care by AI or the technology, and hence the judgment comes will play a very important role. How you can actually do the creativity, and you mentioned about, we talked about the prompt, right?
Right.
So where you can actually use your prompt, you can use your domain knowledge. So this kind of a skill set will become very important. And as I think you have already summed it up, that it's not about AI won't replace people, but it's about people who uses AI will be outperform who doesn't, right? I think that's my takeaway.
Absolutely. Now, if we continue with the misconception, another very common misconception is that the AI is only for the engineers, data scientists, and the technology team. But we all know that that's not true. And that is one of the things which we are trying to do, right, as a community, that's spreading the AI awareness. Now, whenever I'm trying to do some workshop for the students or anyone for that matter, the common thing comes, oh, I'm not going for engineering, right? Why should I go ahead and attend this one? Come on. It does not require like you to be an engineer, whether you are going for a humanity, whether you are becoming a teacher, whether you are going to be a shopkeeper, anywhere, right? Or a kind of simple inventory management person or a commerce person, AI knowledge is going to be the critical next days, right? In the coming days. So whether you are a leading HR or a finance or operations, sales, marketing, strategy, you will increasingly be expected to make informed decision about AI, identifying opportunity and lead teams right through changes. Now the good news is that the leaders don't need to become programmers or AI expert. That is another misconception, because typically the so-called leaders and executives are thinking, oh, we have come a long way, right? So we are around now 25 plus or 30. We are wearing a CXO hat. So do we need to get back to our ID and start writing Python code? No, it's not required. So what they need to do is enough literacy, AI literacy, to ask the right question, exactly what you mentioned, understanding the business impact, and confidently guide their teams in the AI-enabled world. So with this context, why AI evolving at such a rapid pace, many non-technical leaders worry about being left behind, right? It's a mindset. It's a kind of insecurity. So what practical steps can they take to remain relevant and create the value and come out of this inhibition?
Excellent question and excellent pointers, Shubhabrata. I think just to add on, I think we got on the similar lines, we got a question also. I was just reading through. I think we are just exactly on the same point. To start off with, as you correctly mentioned, I think first of all, many things that they need coding.
Right.
That is not, means if you can, well and good, but it's not a mandatory skill set to have, right? I think to me, the first and foremost skill set is about curiosity and the incubation mindset. I think that would be the foremost number one to me. Second, if I continue on those lines, again, I think we talked about multiple times now that we have to develop AI literacy. And by AI literacy, I mean learning effective prompting, vibe coding, because those, as you mentioned, that they can do wonders in today's world.
Right.
The third aspect is about, I'll say that spend 20 to 30 minutes every day experimenting with AI. And I'm emphasizing on the word experimentation because, moment you open up LinkedIn, you will get hundreds of things, right? Reading is good, but until and unless you are experimenting, I think the recall will be almost equal to zero.
Absolutely.
You will read today, after 2 days, you will forget, right?
Right.
So I think that's why I'm emphasizing on the word called experimenting. The last aspect is about reading AI business use cases. And by reading AI business use cases, what I mean is that to understand that how AI is actually getting used on the ground, right? Not the GAN, but how exactly things are getting used on the ground. What are the best practices? What are the challenges? And what kind of value those use cases are generating for the business? So what I'm trying to say that focus on the business opportunity and not on the technical complexity when you are actually reading these use cases. So I think these are the 4 pointers which I will suggest to a non-technical leader. Forget about non-technical leader, even the technical leaders as well. And to sum it up, and I think you already have mentioned this, that we don't need to be an AI expert.
Correct.
We need to be an AI-enabled leader. That is what is important from a leadership standpoint.
Very, very well said. Now, as AI takes over more routine and repetitive tasks, the value of human work is shifting. Now, success will no longer depend solely on what we know, but on how quickly we can learn, adapt, collaborate, and solve complex problems. At the same time, the organizations face the challenge of preparing thousands of employees for roles that may look very different in just a few years from now. Now, needless to mention that every organization is investing heavily on the right AI-enabled roles. And we don't know them yet. Maybe those are not having any names as of now, right? So, but eventually, maybe in 2 to 3 years down the line, we will see some new, as you said, right, the business technical leader or technical product manager or something like that, AI-enabled product manager, etc., etc. So the conversation is no longer just about erupting AI. It's about building an AI-ready workforce equipped with the right skill, right? The kind of point you mentioned that is becoming, right, one of the biggest challenge in, right, with the organization leaders or the executives, right? So who are having the right mindset and, right, building right culture. Already you emphasized on to thrive alongside intelligent technologies. So what skill do you believe, right? We already talked about, right, what all things a non-technical leader should do. But overall, if we just take overall, what skill do you believe will become more valuable in the age of AI, and how should organizations prepare their workforce in general for this shift?
Yeah, very good question. So in my mind, when you talk about skill, right, there are 3 segments. One is a technical skill, another is basically business or domain skill, and the third is a soft skill, right?
Right.
Now, if I talk about technical skill, right, we obviously talked about AI literacy, so I'm not going there. But I think other than that, the knowledge about data and system is very important, which we call as data literacy and system understanding. Because at the end of the day, AI sits on top of data, and data is a collection of a lot of system.
Right.
So unless you don't understand what data is available, how the system talks to each other, building anything is like, yeah, you can build it, but I don't know how relevant and how useful it will be, right? And there is a old saying, garbage in, garbage out in the AI science world, right? So obviously understanding the backend or the foundation elements are important. The third is about automation mindset, because you need to now approach a problem not from the sake of, okay, I'm supposed to do ABC, I'll do ABC. That I think that world is going away. I think we need to see that, okay, if someone is telling you to do ABC, you do the ABC, but then how to automate and get tomorrow when I'm going, I'm not doing the same thing, I'm automating most of the part, whatever is possible, right? So that automation mindset becomes very, very critical when I'm talking about the technical knowledge or technical skill set standpoint.
Right.
Then coming to the business skill set, I think product thinking is becoming very, very pertinent in today's world, right? Means most of the solution that we build nowadays is not about one-off solution.
Correct.
Typically, it caters to multiple markets, multiple products, and etc. etc. So essentially, what we are essentially building is a scalable solution, which is nothing but a product. So a product thinking is a very important thing. Second is about decision making, because the in this ever changing world, I think decision making is becoming very pertinent, right?
Right.
And hence the decision making skill set is very important. The third one is about innovation, because like innovation has not become like in maybe 5 years back, innovation was like good to have. Now it has become a sort of a must-have kind of a core skill set, right, in today's world. Then coming to the soft skill, I think 3 soft skill to me is very, very important. First and foremost is communication, because at the end of the day, whatever we are building is a technological solution, and we have to translate that to the business or the end user in a way that they can understand. And hence the communication becomes a very, very important aspect.
True.
Second is about critical thinking. We talked about that very structured approach. First principle thinking is a very, very important skill set, because until unless you have it, I think we will not be able to write good prompts or do vibe coding, right?
True.
And the third is about emotional intelligence. I know we are living in a Instagram, Facebook world, right? But at the end of the day, we need to have those emotional touches, human touches, and that is very, very important. So I think emotional intelligence will be my third one in terms of soft skill.
Excellent, excellent. Now coming to the other dimension, right, the balance dimension, the pressure to adopt AI is immense, that we all know. Now, every organization wants to innovate faster, improve productivity, and stay ahead of the competition. But with great capability comes greater responsibility. So AI can influence critical decisions, generate convincing but incorrect information, right? Hallucinated outcome. Raise important questions around privacy, bias, intellectual property, and security. Now, technology leaders today face a delicate balancing act. Moving fast enough to innovate, already you said that's a very important dimension, while putting the right guardrails in place to ensure the AI is used responsibly.
Yeah.
After all, trust is often much harder to rebuild than innovation is to achieve. So as AI becomes more powerful, how do leaders balance innovation with the governance, ethics, security, and the trust?
Yeah. Very good question, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗶. Now, let me start off with this, okay? Innovation without governance creates risk.
Right.
Governance without innovation slows growth, right? So it's like a chicken and egg scenario, essentially. Now, I think if we sum it up, I think what important, and there is this terminology which is there in the AI world for quite some time now. It's called responsible AI, right? So that's what we wanted to get into. Now, if you just open up responsible AI, what exactly means it's nothing but an amalgamation of innovation, transparency, ethics, security, privacy, and human intelligence. That is basically my responsible AI looks like, right? So now let me cite an example to explain this concept. Now, if you see in many organizations, the first instinct is basically to lock everything down because of the security and the compliance concern.
Right.
Now, I agree with them that where the concerns are very, very valid. But what I've seen is that over restrictive policies often push employees towards unapproved public AI tools. Means if you're not allowing them to use some XYZ tool, they will actually go and use it in a personal space, right? So which will create even greater risk. So what I've seen is that organizations who have established a good enterprise AI platform with a clear governance framework and responsible usage is actually, like they're promoting innovation with maintaining the control. I think that's the balance what the leaders need to achieve. So it's not about just locking it everything, but how to create or build scenarios or build framework with a certain amount of governance and responsibility in that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know there are a lot of, people have joined, right from over the India, but I'm just becoming a little bit selfish here to use one of the proverb here. Like we used to learn in our school days, those who are from Bengali, right? So they know it. দ্বার বন্ধ করে দিয়ে ভ্রমটারে রুখি, আলো বলে আমি তবে কোল পথে ঢুকি. So if you restrict everything, right, you are actually losing out, right, the openings for the innovations and other things. So there should be a kind of right balancing act everywhere,
Yeah.
right? So technology has never evolved as quickly as it is today, and the pace of change is only expected to accelerate. The leaders who succeed in 2030 may not be necessarily to those with the deepest technical expertise, but those who can continuously learn, adapt all the points that you mentioned, inspire people and harness AI to create meaningful business and societal impact. Now, looking ahead gives us an opportunity to think beyond today's tools and trends and reflect on the timeless qualities that will define exceptional leadership in the AI-first world. So from your perspective, imagine we meet again, we are having this conversation again in 2030. What do you think will define a successful technology leader in that world?
Yeah, and this is actually, I have thought number of times this particular question. And now this is what I could have deciphered so far, right? I don't know. I think 2030 will tell me whether I have actually understood it correctly or not. But so far, this is what I have deciphered, and it's valid for me as well, right? I think the first point is like focus on the outcome and not on headcount. And I
Right.
mentioned about the revenue per employee concept, which is
Correct.
becoming more pertinent at this point of time.
Mhm.
Then a very unique skill of how to lead human and AI agents together, right? How to do that. Now, I don't know how it looks like into right now, but I think that is one skill which we all have to learn, right, in another few months or few years. The third is about how to build an adaptable organizations with the culture of continuous learning and experimentation.
True.
Right? Because obviously things are changing, we have to keep learning, we have to keep experimenting, so that culture needs to be there. And the fourth one to me is how means the leader who should think ecosystem over hierarchy.
Right.
Right. So in summary, if I just have to tell in a one key takeaway, that we are talking about a future leader who will orchestrate intelligence, which is a combination of human and artificial.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Now, last question before we move to the rapid fire round. So we have explored today how AI is reshaping leadership, transforming organization, redefining skill and creating new opportunities. While technology will continue to evolve, one constant remains, that the need of the leaders who can inspire, adapt, and lead through change, or you said, lead through influence. Right. As we conclude, I would like to leave our audience with something very practical and memorable, an insight they can carry into their own leadership journey. So if you would like to give just one piece of advice to today's emerging technology leaders and aspiring professionals navigating the AI era, what would that be?
Yeah, firstly, I think I don't have the audacity to advise anyone. I myself is a student, but I can just say that what I typically follow, that I can just say.
Of course.
I think the first point, and I think I've reiterated so many times, that first of all, I think we need to stay curious,
Right.
And learn continuously with experiment and keep doing experiment. Second is embrace change. See, change is a very cliched dialogue, but change is the only constant, but
Right.
that's how it is. So we have to learn how to embrace change.
Hmm.
And the third is also help other to grow with AI or anything, because while we are students, right? One thing I think our teacher or professor have taught us, right, is basically that the best way to learn is to teach. Right. So I think if you help others to grow in that particular way, you will also learn, or learn quite a lot. I think so. These are the three things which I want to highlight: stay curious, learn, embrace change, and help others to grow with AI.
Thank you so much. Now, with the last almost 40 minutes of serious talk, let's have some fun thing. So let's go into a quick rapid fire round.
Sure.
So AI, It's an opportunity or a disruption?
It's a both. It's basically, I think it's a short-term disruption, but it's a long-term opportunity.
Excellent. One skill every leader must learn in 2026.
Of course, AI literacy, because I think leaders need to ask right questions and make more informed decisions.
One skill every employee must learn.
I think experiment. Keep experimenting. You can
Okay.
only learn by experimenting.
Human intelligence or artificial intelligence?
I think human intelligence along with artificial intelligence, because I feel that AI typically brings speed and the scale, whereas humans obviously brings judgment and other things, empathy and curiosity, ethics and all. So it's,
Biggest AI myth that we want to bust.
I think biggest is basically AI is going to replace everyone. I don't think so that is going to happen. At least it's about that again, that it will replace people who embraces his versus who doesn't.
One book every technology leader should read.
I think I read this book called Co-Intelligence. It's basically it's about living and working with AI. I think that is a very good book in today's world, according to me.
Co-intelligence. Okay.
Yeah.
One habit that keeps you future ready.
Oh, obviously continuous learning through experimentation, 100%.
One technology trend beyond AI that leaders should watch.
I think I'm very much interested about cybersecurity space, because it is actually the space I personally feel that 27, 28 will be the year of cybersecurity, because the way AI adoptions is growing, we definitely need more governance and more cybersecurity. So I think cybersecurity will be my call out.
AI will create more jobs or eliminate more jobs?
No, I think definitely more new roles. I don't know about the number of jobs. Definitely, it is going to create more new roles, and the nature of the work will change significantly.
Correct. Final one, complete the sentence. The future belongs to leaders who?
I think it's about create value through people and technology together.
Excellent. Great. So I see already Rajesh has come up with a question. So Rajesh, would you like to go first? And then I think Shubha, you have a point to share. So let's go ahead with Rajesh first. Rajesh, can you unmute? Yeah.
Yeah, I unmuted now. Hi, Biswajit. Thanks for sharing wonderful insights. I know this is only aspirational question. Is there one right answer to it? We touched during our discussion in portions of it, and I have not been able to bridge this even in a cloud era or a mainframe to web era. This was not so easy, right? Tying up all the three group of stakeholders, which is this top leadership board, and then the business leadership as such, and then IT service providers, which is me. So I'm asking this question purely from wearing an IT hat as an enabler of AI era. So how do I build a single view of backlog, right? I may not have a full, how would you say? Yeah, I need to convince my IT leader to speak to other two leaders in the group, major ones. So how do you build this single view of backlog? Otherwise, I'm seeing coming era would be more challenging, because AI is making everyone more intimate. My domain intimacy is increasing. So AI demands that. So how do we bridge this backlog, single view of backlog across the stakeholder chain?
Yeah,
that's my question.
Yeah, it's a great question, Rajesh. And to be very honest, it sums up my day job as well.
Yeah.
So I think the way I approach this problem is a little bit very commonsensical approach, that I typically approach it saying that, okay, what's there for me? If I can show this to every people whom you talked about, be it a board, be it a business, be it a team member, and be it everyone, right? Now, if you can connect and show that, obviously, I know we talk about a lot about, okay, it should be organization first, team first, and people first. I understand that, but the reality of the story is basically the other side, other way, right? Means if you can show that if you do it, this is what helpful for you at different level. I think that ties back to sponsorship, because you need sponsorship. You can build solution, it can be the best solution of the world, but still it will not go into the adoption mode until unless you have sponsorship. And you can get only sponsorship, you can show that what's there for that particular sponsor. I think that is the way I approach the problem. And I think to me, I think that's a secret mantra, that if you can show that, I think I think after that, obviously, I think all of us know that how to do it, but show each of these individuals or each of these team that if you do it, what's there for him or her or them.
Excellent. Shubha, you have a question or you want to share something? Let me know if you're not able to unmute yourself.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't have a question. So I have just few points that I've written. So while adopting AI, I mean, say we are working for different accounts, right? So while we are
lost you, Shubha.
I think we lost you.
Hello?
Yeah. Now you're back.
Now you're back.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is that since we are working for say different accounts, like supporting different customers, so while we are proposing any solution uh, pertaining to the context of AI, I mean utilizing AI, so we should have the contextual knowledge about the customer and the customer environment.
Yeah.
So that's just a point. I mean, just a suggestion, not anything that I'm asking anything. So just a point that we should take notice of that. And second is that I mentioned, design thinking. Like one of the key aspect of that is the probing. Like how, I mean, you have mentioned already, how we are asking questions, good questions or relevant questions, the prompts that we are giving. So these are the key things that will be relevant going forward. And another thing is the open-minded. I mean, the era that we are traversing right now. So we should all be open-minded to welcome new changes and work along with that. So these are the 3 points I think from my side after this session.
Absolutely. All are very valid points, Shubha. Well, so I think the contextual domain knowledge is very, very important because, again, we talked about good prompting, right? Now, you cannot write good prompts until unless you have a good domain expertise or domain.
Excellent. Yeah.
So all the points are very valid.
Any other question, anyone?
So it's not just a question, 𝗟𝗲. What I feel through these discussions we are having over the weeks, that we have to stick to a discipline of learning that Biswajit has mentioned rightly, that dedicating 15-20 minutes or 30 minutes every day for unlearning and relearning what the concepts we already are into and to get into the new domain. So that is important. And also another factor that comes in is staying humble, that anything may come. So that is what my learnings are. So I thought that if I can just discuss on this, and these are the 2 basic qualities we need to instill other than staying curious. And so.
Right. Just to add to your point, I think he also insisted not only about the learning, but and applying that, experimenting, right? That's more important, right? You will read and it will go away unless you go ahead and implement that or experiment that with, right? So that is also very important. We may be failing, that's okay, right? But we can learn from our mistake and I can get going right, with that. Any other question?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Shubha. Thank you, Bishwa, for the valuable Sunday morning. A quick question. What is the biggest misconception or mistakes, if you will, the business leaders or the C-suites executives are making today in the space of AI?
AI is magic.
Silver bullet, right? We earlier used to say that, right?
AI is magic. There is if you are a Harry Potter fan, you have a wand, you just wave it and you get it. That's the problem. So I think obviously because and this ties back to my AI literacy as well, that a lot of leaders are going and attending the conferences and they're definitely seeing some jazzy stuff in the PPT. And then when they're coming back and expecting the team to actually deliver, that is not always true. And that's why the AI literacy and the experimentation, which I keep talking about, that in theory it will look great, but moment you start experimenting, you realize that what is feasible and what is not feasible. I think that is a very important aspect. So yes, I think the misconception is about AI is a magic.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other question? Okay. If not, I have little out of context question. Since Vishwajit, like you have been interacting with various institutions, right, different forums, right, different organizations, etc. Why is India lagging in coming up with a product, right? In terms of, let's say, we always have been a user, right, of something. So what can we do? What is the fundamental thing, right, that we are lagging here?
I think I have a little mixed views, 𝗟𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗄, in this, because when we talk about product, see, we already have some very good product like an UPI and basically our delivery, right? The apps, Zomato apps, Swiggy app, and all those things. I don't think so. Not many people have cracked it. And UPI, so obviously, I don't think anybody has cracked it in this kind of a scale. So I think it's not about we don't have the product, right? We definitely have some good product, 100%. And even if you see, right, the Zomato and the Swiggy came first. And some European companies are actually trying to build those kind of apps, right, in different places. Uber Eats came later on, as you realize, right? So I think we have definitely been pioneer in developing those products. However, I think the pace is the main question. Not many products are coming in terms of, if you think about Zomato, Swiggy has come almost, 4 or 5 years now, but after that, what next, right? Now, I think definitely it's a balance between the investment and the money. It's at the end of it's a money game, right?
Correct.
So I think a lot of people, what is happening, because getting an investment, right? Because I'm associated with some of these, VC farms. It's not that straightforward in India compared to if you go to the Bay Area, right, where actually you get the VC fundings very quickly. Now that also ties back to economy, because it's like, obviously when you talk about an US economy versus an Indian economy, there's a huge difference, right? I think there are very good products. I have seen few products, right, and it's coming up. But I think where the blocker is the investment. So I think even government is doing quite a lot nowadays with the NASSCOM and all that. They are actually, if you can actually, so one of my startup, whom I am actually a VC, we are part of the Gen AI Foundry, and I'm on the WhatsApp group, so I can see that what kind of fundings different governments are actually pushing. Like you get a lot of AWS credit, you get the Google Cloud credit, and etc. Moment you step in. So I think it is not getting circulated so much. So let me put it this way, that pace is there, people are doing it, but it is not getting marketed quite a lot. Need to do a better job in terms of marketing.
Right. So that means the capabilities there, products are also there, right? It is not properly socialized or marketed properly. That's the kind of awareness. But innovation mindset is not, because I was hearing some in other conversation that we always have been the users of the first world country products. Like if you talk about Copilot, if you talk about like ChatGPT, I know that like we are also having some our homegrown models as well, which are very good. But still, right, once everyone does, and then we start following. Why we cannot be the first in place? Is it a problem with the innovative mindset, or people are not relying on our success rate?
My counter argument to be that when we already have that LLM developed, why we want to develop our own LLM? You can use it and then get it done, right?
Right.
UPI, same goes with the app, right? No, now Uber Eats was not the first pioneer to actually come up with it. They created what Zomato, Swiggy has done, and they created for their own, right? So I think what I'm trying to get to is that, and given the fact that you are also coming from Bangalore, I'm also from Bangalore, and I keep telling this whenever the US leaders visit. If you go to Indranagar and HSR, any coffee shop, you will find 4 Agentic AI use case there, right?
Absolutely.
So I think it's happening. I think the marketing is a big issue, and typically we are not a great marketer, right? As an Indian, we are more critics.
Instead of showcasing our ability, our success, right? We always love to.
And being a mom, I can definitely say that we are more critics.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other question, anyone? Okay, 2 questions. 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀, go ahead. 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀, if you don't mind, okay, let me just help you unmute yourself. Yeah, I think you can talk now. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗵. Hi, Vishayit, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀 here. Thank you for the wonderful insights you shared throughout the session. So I have 2 questions actually. First one is we know that AI technologies are evolving rapidly. Almost every month, people have started working with the foundation model and then they shifted to Agentic AI and the multimodal systems. My point is how can technology leaders distinguish between trends that are worth investing in and short-lived type, especially when making long-term strategic decisions and also to make a stand as per these recent ongoing market conditions?
Yeah. So 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗀, I think I'm just repeating myself about the experimentation, and I'll take my example, my personal example. I think till January this year, I was mostly reading stuff. I was reading articles, I was reading blogs, I was reading LinkedIn posts, papers, blah, blah, blah. I think since February onwards, I've started implementing it, doing it my personal project and experimenting. Believe me, my entire perspective has changed. Means, and I could sense that how much gap I had, right? Moment you start coding in Claude Code and etc., you start using GitHub Copilot and all, and doing it, not like only reading. It has actually changed my perspective quite a lot. And now I'm able to understand that what is feasible, what is not at this point of time, and if we actually go and implement certain things, what are the blockers? So to sum up, I'm actually, and I talked to few leaders as well in India as well as abroad, a lot of people are actually using the same approach. Until unless you experiment on your own, as a leader also, it is difficult to differentiate between what's the reality and what's the hype, what will work on the ground and which will not and work on the ground. So that is definitely the way to go. Otherwise, it is becoming very difficult to understand the real picture. So that's to answer your first question. Second question about organization want a rapid AI adoption, but governance frameworks often slow innovation. How can leaders strike the right balance between speed, compliance, and responsible AI without certain unnecessary bureaucracy? See, if what you actually ask the question, this is the reality, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is exactly the reality, right?
Yes.
Now the point is that, and that is where it boils down to how matured your organization is in terms of AI, right? So if you search AI maturity, there are 5 levels of maturity, right? Not every organization are at the same level, right? Now, these are all foundational things. You need to have a proper governance, proper responsible AI defined, right? Proper structure in place. Until unless that happens, it will go to a certain loop, right? Say right from the beginning, when you ask to the organization, I need a API key, right? Getting and damn API key, if you don't have a proper setup, will take 4 to 6 weeks. Then you talk about a sandbox environment, you will take another 4 to 6 weeks. By that time, the technology, what you are trying has already gone or changed.
Yes, yes, that is the market scenario right
Yeah,
now.
that is the market. That's what I'm saying. That is what is basically the AI maturity. So when you talk about, say, because of the fact that I've worked in companies like Walmart for 5 years, I exactly know what a high AI maturity looks like versus a medium maturity and the low maturity. So if you go to the Walmart of the world or Amazon of the world, you will get it in 2 hours. Forget about so many days. You will get a straight away sandbox. You will get a straight away API key. Everything will be there because they are doing it for ages. They are not doing it just because, say, 2 years, 3 years back, the AI has started boom and now I have to use AI, right? Compared to, like if you talk about my current organization, we are somewhere in the middle, right? We have set up, but we are also setting up things, right? And then definitely there are organizations I know who are still not yet. They talk about outside, but you go inside, you will realize that even getting a simple API key or a sandbox is so difficult, right? So it totally depends on how mature your organization is, because more mature your organization is, these disciplines are already been stated and it is an horizontal practice.
Thank you.
Excellent. So as we come close to the end of this enriching conversation. I know it can go on and on, but we have to stop also. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Vishwajit for sharing his valuable insight, practical experience, and of course, thoughtful perspective on leading in the age of AI. Now, today's discussion reinforced to some important message, like AI is not just changing technology, it's changing the way we lead, learn, innovate, experiment, and create value. While the tools and technologies will continue to evolve, it's our mindset, our adaptability, and our commitment to continuous learning and experimentation that will determine our success. On behalf of everyone present here, thank you so much, Vishwajit, for inspiring us with your experiences and for helping us better understand what it takes to stay relevant, and thrive in the AI era. Thank you to our audience for joining us and for being part of this engaging conversation, even on a Sunday morning. Hope today's session has sparked some new ideas, fresh perspectives, and confidence to embrace the opportunity that lie ahead. Until next time, keep learning, keep innovating, keep reading. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. And we are going to come up with some new great sessions as well. That's a commitment.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.